Why she doesn't hear logic, but she feels emotion like fire. Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever looked a girl in the eyes, said all the right words, and still felt like she didn't care? Like you could have written her a book, gave her a PowerPoint, even brought a whiteboard with graphs and arrows, and she still would have rolled her eyes and said, "You just don't get it." Bruh, what just happened? You were calm, you made sense, you explained everything, and still, she pulled away, got colder, or maybe even walked off. Want to know why? Because logic doesn't move her. Emotion does. Let that hit for a second. You can be the smartest guy in the room. You can say things that are 100% true. But if what you say doesn't make her feel something, she won't remember it. She won't care. She won't stay. Here's the secret no one told you. Most guys speak to a woman's mind. But the rare ones, the ones she feels, dreams about, aches over, they speak to her soul. And it's not about being a smooth talker. It's not about lying, tricking her, or playing games. It's about being a man who speaks from something deeper, something she can't explain. But it hits her chest like thunder. Women feel words. They feel energy. They feel presence. They feel when your voice is calm, not desperate. When your tone is low, not loud. When your silence is strong, not weak. You can't logic your way into her heart. You have to move it. You have to become the man who doesn't just talk. You make her feel. Now listen closely, because this is the key. When a man lives with purpose, when he's not trying to prove, explain, or beg, when he's calm, still, and detached from outcome, his voice becomes different. It's no longer noise. It becomes vibration. It becomes gravity. It becomes something she can't ignore, even if she tries. Most men chase women with words. They try too hard. They explain too much. They speak like robots reading a script. But you're about to learn how to speak like a man who feels nothing, but makes her feel everything. And that's when the magic starts. Are you ready to stop talking like every other guy and start making her feel you, even in silence? Good. Because once you understand what I'm about to show you, your voice will hit like music. Your silence will speak louder than her favorite love song. And she'll remember your words like they were carved into her heart. Let's go deeper. If you sound like every guy, you'll be forgotten like every guy. Okay. Here's something wild most guys never even think about. She's heard it all before. I miss you. You're so pretty. I'm not like other guys. Yawn. She's been texted. She's been chased. She's been complimented by guys just trying to say the right thing. And guess what? It all sounds the same. Like background noise, like static on a radio. Why? Because those guys weren't speaking to her soul. They were performing, pleasing, hoping, wishing she'd like them. But here's the truth bomb. The words that hit her the hardest are the ones that come from a place that doesn't need her. Let that sink in. When you say something calm, strong, and from your core, it shakes her. Because it's not for attention. It's not to win her over. It's not desperate. It's real. Think about it. When a man who's grounded in his purpose speaks, he speaks with power, even if it's just one word. Like this, she's not the one. I don't chase. I choose peace. Boom. That's not small talk. That's impact. She won't forget a man who makes her stop and feel something deep in her chest. So how do you do this? You speak less, you feel more. You pause before you talk. You look her in the eye like you already know your worth. You drop your voice. You let silence stretch. You give her time to feel your energy before she even hears your words. Because here's the magic trick. Most guys are loud because they're empty. But the man who's full inside doesn't need to raise his voice. His quiet hits harder than their noise. It's like thunder on a clear day, unexpected and unforgettable. So stop trying to say the right thing. Start becoming the kind of man whose very presence makes her nervous in the best way. Not because of what you said, but because of how you made her feel, without saying much at all. Are you getting it now? This is how you stop sounding like every other guy and become the one she remembers forever. Ready to go even deeper? Words that touch her heart come from a man who doesn't need her. Let me ask you something. Why do most guys talk to women? Be honest. It's to impress, to prove something, to feel good enough, to win her over. But here's the twist. The more you try to win her, the more you lose yourself. And women feel that. They don't feel your power, they feel your need. And guess what? Neediness is invisible to you, but loud to her. She can smell it, see it in your eyes, feel it in the way you talk. That shaky voice, that fake smile, that trying too hard energy. It doesn't hit her emotionally. It makes her pull away. Now, flip it. Imagine a man who's not trying to get anything. He's just speaking truth. He's just living real. And if she stays, cool. If she walks away, still cool. That's the guy who leaves a mark on her soul. Because his words aren't trying to get love. They're just overflowing from self-respect. Let me give you an example. A regular guy says, "Please don't leave. I can change." A man with deep calm says, "If this isn't what you want, I understand." Whoa, feel the difference? One is begging. The other is choosing peace over drama. And guess what? That second line? That's the one that messes with her head in the best way. Not because it's a game, not because it's manipulation, but because it's real. It's stoic. It's rare. And rare is addictive. You're not here to be some dancing clown hoping for love crumbs. You're here to be a man who speaks from his chest, with words backed by a life he's proud of. You don't speak to please. You speak to express. You don't need her to get you. You already get yourself. And the more you do that, the more your words hit places logic never could. Her heart, her gut, her emotions. You're not speaking to her brain. You're speaking to the storm of feelings inside her that even she can't explain. That's what makes her come back. Replay your words in her head and wonder, why can't I stop thinking about him? Spoiler alert. It's because you finally stopped chasing approval and started standing in your truth. Now, ready to discover how your silence can say even more than your words? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Okay, let's talk about something crazy powerful. Silence. Yeah, silence. Not a single word, just your eyes, your stillness, your calm energy. You know what most guys do when they're nervous around a woman? They talk and talk and talk some more. They ramble. They overshare. They try to fill every little space with sound. Because that silence, it scares them. They're afraid she'll get bored. They're scared she'll walk away. They think they have to perform to keep her attention. But here's the secret. A real man doesn't fear silence. He owns it. He knows that in the quiet, there's tension, there's mystery, there's power. Imagine this. You're on a date. She asks, "Why didn't you text me back last night?" Now, a weak man scrambles. "Oh, I was busy. My phone died. My cat sat on it." But you just smile, pause, hold eye contact, then calmly say, "I was doing something important." That's it. Nothing more. No apology, no explanation, just grounded presence. Boom. Her heart skips. Because that pause, that silence, it makes her feel. It makes her lean in. It makes her question. It pulls her into your world. You're not explaining yourself like a boy. You're sitting in your power like a man. Remember this. Your silence says, "I'm not here to prove. I'm here to live." You don't chase approval. You don't beg to be liked. You're not afraid of space. You're not afraid of tension. Because deep down, you know, a man who is calm in the silence is a man who shakes her soul without saying a word. When you speak less, your words weigh more. When you pause, she feels the depth behind what you didn't say. And when you're not desperate to fill the air with noise, she fills the space with curiosity. What's he thinking? Why is he so calm? Why do I want to know more? It's not about being cold. It's about being composed. It's about being unshakable. Speak less, feel more, say little, mean much. Your stillness is louder than noise. Now, let's dive deeper, because on page 5, I'll show you how your tone can make her feel safe, pulled in, and completely hooked, even more than your words. Ready? Let's go. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. Here's a truth bomb you probably never heard in school. The way you say things is 10 times more powerful than the words themselves. Crazy, right? Let me show you what I mean. You could say to a woman, "I missed you." Now, if you say it fast, with nervous energy, looking around the room, it feels weak. It feels needy. It doesn't hit her heart. But imagine this instead. You slow down. You look her in the eyes. Your voice drops just a little, deeper, calmer. You say, "I missed you." Same words. But this time, she feels it, like, really feels it. Her heart skips, her breathing changes, and she doesn't know why. But she leans in, because your tone tells the truth. Women are emotional creatures. They don't just hear your words. They feel your energy. They feel your calm, your confidence, your strength. You can say, "I'm fine," and she'll know you're lying, just from your voice. You can say, "I got this." And if your tone is steady and strong, she'll believe you with her whole body. This is why a man who speaks slow, low, and with calm control is 100 times more attractive than the guy who says the perfect line. Because when you speak that way, she feels safe. She feels like you're not afraid, like you've got things handled, Like you don't need to chase or beg or shout. You don't try to impress. You already are impressive, just by how you carry yourself. Your voice becomes your presence. It tells her, I know who I am. I trust myself. I don't need to prove anything. You could read the phone book, and if your tone is strong and steady, she'd still feel butterflies. This is why Stoic men are magnetic. They don't rush, they don't react, they speak with stillness and certainty. And in that space, a woman lets her guard down. She doesn't want a robot full of facts. She wants a man whose voice feels like home. So, if you want to touch her emotions, stop trying to say the right thing. Say it the right way. Calm, slow, confident. That's what she remembers. Now, what if I told you that certain words can trigger her deepest emotions instantly? Let's unlock those in the next chapter, because it's about to get even better. Ready? Let's dive in. The secret words that make her feel wanted, without saying, I want you. Okay, listen up. This might be the most powerful page in this whole script, because right now, I'm going to give you something most men never learn. Certain words are like keys, and when you say them the right way, they unlock deep emotions inside a woman's heart, emotions that logic can never touch. But here's the twist. These words don't sound romantic. They don't sound smooth. They sound simple, but how you say them, that's the real magic. Ready? Let's break this down. Instead of saying, you're hot, try, there's something about you, I can't explain it. Why does that hit different? Because it's mysterious. It makes her wonder, what does he see in me? It makes her curious, and curiosity is emotional gold. Another one, instead of saying, I like you, try, being around you feels peaceful. Boom. That one melts her. Because now it's not about looks. It's not about approval. It's about how she makes you feel. Women want to feel like a man is tuned in, emotionally, not soft, not needy, but aware. That's what makes her feel chosen, because you're not just reacting to her body. You're noticing her presence, her vibe, her essence. And when you speak like that, she feels seen, not just looked at, seen. Here's another word that hits hard emotionally. Safe. If you ever say, I feel safe around you, or better yet, I want you to feel safe with me, that's not weak. That's power. Because now, she feels like she can let go. She doesn't have to perform. She doesn't have to pretend. She can just be. And guess what? That's when she opens up. That's when she starts craving your presence. Because most guys just try to impress her. You make her feel something real. Remember, it's not about big, fancy words. It's about choosing the right words that stir emotion, then delivering them with calm, grounded energy. That's how you leave a mark on her heart, not just her mind. And here's the best part. When you speak this way, she keeps replaying your words in her head for hours, days, maybe even longer. Why? Because you didn't just talk. You touched her soul. Now, what if you could say less, but make her feel more? What she hears versus what she feels, this changes everything. Let me ask you something wild. Have you ever said something to a girl and she reacted in a way you didn't expect? Like you thought you were being nice, but she got cold or distant or confused, and you were left thinking, wait, what just happened? Here's the deal. Women don't just listen to your words. They feel your energy. And that energy, it speaks louder than your voice ever could. This is where most men mess up. They say all the right things, but with the wrong vibe. Let me show you the difference. You could say, I miss you. But if your energy is anxious, nervous, needy, it doesn't feel good to her. It feels like pressure. Now flip it. Same words. I miss you. But this time, you say it calm, grounded, like your life is still full. But yeah, you'd enjoy her company too. Suddenly those words become magnetic. Because now you're not saying it from lack. You're saying it from wholeness. Big difference. Here's another one. You tell her, I care about you. But you say it with tight shoulders, fast voice, shallow breath. That doesn't land. She feels the tension. It makes her guard go up. But if you drop your shoulders, slow your tone, look her in the eyes without trying too hard. Now those same words, boom, they hit her right in the heart. Because the emotion behind your words is what makes them powerful. Here's a little trick. Before you say something meaningful to her, ask yourself, am I saying this to get something or just to share something? That tiny shift changes everything. Because when you share, she feels safe, warm, pulled in. When you try to get, she feels tension and she pulls away. Here's the truth. Masculine presence speaks with fewer words, but deeper feelings. You don't need to be clever. You don't need to be loud. You just need to be real, calm, and connected to your heart. That's what creates the emotional punch. That's what sticks in her memory. Because guess what? She might forget what you said, but she will never forget how you made her feel. And on the next chapter, we'll dive into the 3 tones of voice that turn casual words into pure emotion. Your voice is a remote control for her emotions. Bombe. Okay, this one's gonna blow your mind. Ready? Your voice is like a remote control. And guess what it controls? Her emotions. Yep, you don't even need fancy words. You just need the right tone. Let's break this down. Ever heard a guy say something like, hey, how are you? And it sounds super flat, boring, no energy. Now imagine a different guy says the exact same thing, but with warmth in his voice. Maybe even a playful sparkle in his tone. Same words, totally different reaction. Why? Because your tone is what makes her feel. And there are 3 emotional tones you can master. And once you do, oh man, she'll feel pulled to you without even knowing why. Let's go. 1. The calm tone. Safety mode. On. This is deep, slow, and steady. It says, I'm not rushing, I'm not needy, I'm solid. When you speak like this, she relaxes. Her walls drop. She feels safe and drawn in. This tone hits her nervous system. It tells her, you don't need to be on guard. And trust me, women crave that calm energy more than they crave your words. 2. The playful tone. Sparks start flying. This one's light, teasing, fun dot. You say something simple like, "Oh, so you think you can outsmart me?" With a smile and a smirk, her brain lights up. Her heart skips. Because now it's not just talk, it's an experience. The playful tone shows confidence without pressure. It's flirty, fun, and unforgettable. 3. The intentional tone, the one that hits her soul. This one's powerful. It's when you lower your voice a little. Slow your words. Look her in the eyes. And say something like, "I really like how your mind works." Not fast, not rushed, just calm, focused, and real. This tone lands in her chest. She might blush, look away, smile without meaning to, because this tone isn't just about talking. It's about creating feeling. Let's be real. Most guys focus on what to say. But if you want to reach a woman on that deep emotional level, you have to learn how to use your voice like a musical instrument. Slow it down, warm it up, breathe into it, and suddenly, you're not just a guy talking, you're a man she feels. The silent power that speaks louder than words. What if I told you, sometimes the best thing you say is nothing at all? Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me. Silence isn't empty. It's loaded with meaning, and it's one of the most powerful ways to hit her emotionally without saying a single word. Think about it. Have you ever been in a moment with someone where no one talks, but the air is electric? Where a look or a pause says everything? That's the magic of silence. Here's why silence works. 1. It creates mystery. When you don't fill every moment with chatter, you leave space for her mind to wonder. What's he thinking? What's he feeling? Curiosity is like a magnet. It pulls her in closer. 2. It shows confidence. Only a man who is truly secure can be comfortable with silence. If you panic and rush to fill every pause, it screams insecurity. But when you're calm in silence, it says, "I don't need to prove anything." That's power. 3. It makes her feel heard. Sometimes women just want to be understood, not fixed or explained. When you listen quietly, without interrupting or giving your opinion right away, you show you care. That emotional connection, it hits deeper than words ever could. 4. It builds emotional tension. A well-timed pause before you say something important, or even just a quiet moment while you look at her. It builds excitement. It's like a drum roll before the big moment. Hold on tight, because this last secret, it's the game changer, the one that makes everything click. You want her to feel your words deep inside, not just hear them like noise, not just understand with her brain, but connect with her heart. How? By telling stories that hit her emotions like a lightning bolt. Stories aren't just fun. They're the language of feelings. When you share a story about a moment, a dream, or even a simple memory, she sees the world through your eyes. She feels your joy, your pain, your strength. That's how you speak to her soul. But here's the twist. You don't have to be a poet or a great writer. You just have to be real. Speak about things that matter to you. Talk about your passions, your struggles, your victories. When you do this, your words become alive, full of fire and truth. And she'll be drawn to that like a moth to flame. Plus, when you tell a story, you give her a chance to connect, and feel safe. It's like you're inviting her into your world, not demanding she change hers. And that, my friend, is the ultimate power move. Remember, the way you speak is a bridge. It can either carry her closer or push her away. Speak with feeling, with honesty, with calm confidence, and watch how she leans in, wanting more. Because you're not just talking, you're touching her heart. This is the real way to speak in a way that hits her emotionally, not logically. Master this, and you don't just talk, you connect. You don't just get attention, you earn her heart. That's the power of true communication. And that, brother, is your path to freedom, power, and peace. Thank you for going on this journey. Now go out there, speak your truth, and watch the magic happen.